14 WILI and 95.3 FM presents Hometown Threads, a closer look at our community and the people that make it go. Every week, you'll hear uplifting stories from our local businesses and our neighbors. Now, here's our host for Hometown Threads, Keith C. Rice.
Welcome into episode, I never thought I'd say this, 100. Wow, Hometown Threads is the big Hyundai on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. Spectrum 192, Willimantic Today, Facebook, several platforms, plenty of, a plethora, it's a big word for a radio person, a plethora of platforms to watch the show. Only one place to listen to it. That's 14 WILI 95.3 FM every Tuesday, 5:05 to 5:30. It's Keith C. Rice. We'll get to our very special guest, although I don't think this guy needs any introduction. But we'll give him a big one, of course, because he's the 100th guest of Hometown Threads. Brought to you by Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind, with three great local locations across the street from the radio station at 679 Main Street, Willimantic. West Main Street, Willimantic, can't forget that one, managed by my lovely wife, Marianne, at Gateway Commons. And Route 195 in Mansfield, Liberty Bank, Be Community Kind. J. Matt Rupar, if you'd be so kind.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah?
Happy 100th episode, buddy.
Oh, there's the confetti.
I'll be sure to clean up
Thank
later.
You, J. Matt Rupar. Yeah, you better clean this up. Wayne will be on your ass. Oh, my God. I couldn't ask for all my guests. I'm very honored. I'm thankful to all my guests who have been here since, what was it, November of 2022, J. Matt Rupar?
I think so.
So it's been like 2 years and change. Here we are at episode 100. And it's just been great. And of course, big thanks to Liberty Bank. Big thanks to that guy behind the board, J. Matt Rupar. And thanks to Willimantic Today and everyone else who's played a part. Oh, I can't forget. I'm sorry. WILI.com. We have a podcast sponsor, Mark Tripoli Pro Clean Services. So big thanks to Mark as well. Here we are. I don't even have to introduce this guy. Gates gets it, baby. Denny Gates in the house.
Goats, boats, trains, and planes.
Yeah, let's hear it. Come on, do it.
Goats, boats, trains, and planes. You name it, we trade it. Only at Gates GMC Nissan, North Windsor, Connecticut, USA. That
was awesome because Denny will come in to record his commercials like once a month, and as long as we've known each other, I've never, I'd never ask you to do that in person, but you couldn't ask for a better time to ask him to do it in person. And you're on the 100th episode of Hometown Threads. When did that actually, because I moved away for a bunch of years, and it happened when I moved away. So when did that all come about, and how did it come about? The Gates gets it and the goats boats.
I haven't thought of that in a long time. It's a great question. And it was probably in 2006.
Okay.
And it was Bruce John, myself, and my late uncle, Willie Puckett. And we were coming, Willie was our marketing manager at the time, and Bruce was with the Chronicle. And we were...
Bruce was with the Chronicle?
I'm sorry. Did I say the Chronicle?
Oh, that's
my
right.
God. Gene was with the Chronicle.
Gene.
And Bruce was with the broadcaster, or was it the broadcaster?
Yeah. Was he with the broadcaster? I didn't know that. No, I know what you're talking about.
I get it right? I don't know. Someone's going to correct me on this. Bruce, I'm sorry. I've known Bruce, so I've known Donna.
Of course.
Donna,
and
Bruce,
yeah.
For probably since I was 4 years old.
So you guys go that far back with them?
Go that far back, because when I was a kid, when we just had our GMC store, it was Bowser's Garage, 1986. I would go to the dealership and I'd pull the cars out, even at like 5 years old. I'd pull the cars out for Bruce, and we would take a picture, and I'd wear my cowboy boots and I'd take a picture in the ad. And
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So Bruce and I worked together since before I was 10 years old, and we were coming up with something creative. I wanted to do something different, and we had always started doing. My mentality when I got into the management side of the business early in my life, I just wanted to. Anything is as good as cash, and I thought that was something that was important in 06, 08, 09. Like there was it was an economic climate was a little different. People had a lot of things. They didn't have a lot of cash. And we just tried to translate that because we could take that and trade just like anything else. So that's when that started. It was a lot of fun, and it
stuck. It definitely stuck.
Yeah. It's been a hallmark for us.
You still to this day, and I've heard it for years. It's been a couple decades now, right? Where it just sticks in your head, and that's the whole point. You want it to be sticky. You find yourself singing it. It's a very, very catchy commercial jingle, and I remember moving back here and seeing you on TV, and our paths have finally crossed. The past few years, it's amazing. You grew up in the quiet corner. We'll get to some of that. I grew up around here, and as I said, I moved away, and I see Denny now when he comes in to record his spots. but family business,
Yep.
continuing on the legacy. And that's what I've had a lot of guests on Hometown Threads that have grown up in a family business. But you, my friend, have you started, well, how old did you, I got into radio in my teens. How old were you when you were introduced to start doing the car thing?
I mean, 5 years old, I was coming in every Saturday. My dad was very young when he had us, and we got lucky to have an opportunity down here in 1986. And, we had my uncles, my father, great aunt cleaning the place at night. Like, it was a family affair. We didn't have a lot of money. We had our time. So for me to spend time with my father, I came to work. It was great because I grew up with people that, a lot of employees that were their family to me, but they've been employed there. They've been working with the group since then. So they're still there. And it's very comforting. To me, like you, to me is my home is, this is up here and at the dealership is an extension of my home, my house. Mm-hmm. The people that I talk to during the day, I talk to on Sunday. They're my life. These people are, they're my family.
That's wonderful.
Yep, I've had a great life so far with wonderful people in the wonderful community. Sincerely said.
So, for example, like you just said it, like I used to come to work on Saturdays with my father when I was a kid, and I'd see Donna and of course her husband Dave when he was working here. So, who's like the Donna Evan of the Gates dealership? Because you just said you grew up with some of these people. I'm sure there's a bunch of people that still, unlike WYLI, where some people have moved on. Like the dealership, you must have like a Donna Evan or someone who's been there since, has just watched you grown and done such wonderful things.
It's funny. We have all the office managers, ones that run. They're the bosses, right? There's us there, but then there's these women that have been there since inception of the dealership. All of them.
Wow.
They're all named Deb. Which is so,
they are.
Yeah, but I haven't. There's 3 Debs, right? They've been around. I mean, there's plenty of other people, but those are the mothers. Just like Donna's a mother figure. Like these are mothers. They check in on me. They had my first checkbook when it was Savings Bank of Manchester. The passport, passbook.
Wow.
They still have them in their folder.
How cool is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Those are special things, There's an extension of your family. You're proud of them. They're proud of you. You do it for them, and you protect them like they're your own mother.
Now, growing up in the radio business, I've told this story. Matt knows a few times how I love my father. My family's always been very supportive, but there are times. And I reaffirm or confirm this with my father. I don't know if he really wanted me to do radio. My family's always been supportive. But I remember one time I was 15 years old. My dad probably a little younger, took me down to the KFC when it was on Main Street. Yep. And he said, I want you to do a 3-day trial shift. And I'm thinking, I always think back to that story. Does he not want me to do radio? My second day there, and with all due respect to the people, I just didn't want to do that. How was it like working with your father every day? Did he have plans for you? He wanted you eventually to take over, and talk a little about that.
I don't know that answer. I've never actually had that conversation. It's been work since day one.
Oh.
I think, I go back to our roots. We came to Willimantic with, there's roots. The Route 6 is more than it was then, right? And we traveled through those hills through Pomfret and Hampton.
Sure.
This was our only shop. My dad worked at another dealership for a couple of years, and this was our make it or break it moment. And I think we were too busy to be able to look at it retrospectfully. So I don't really know that answer. I know that my father challenged me often, and thankfully everybody around put up with me. And
that's a good thing when your dad, because my dad did the same thing.
Yeah.
And challenging your son.
Your dad's a great man. I think the world of your father.
Well, your family's wonderful too, and you look at you're a wonderful dad, and that's what it's all about. When you have parents that can challenge you, and it just brings out the best in you down the road. And I can speak from experience as you can. How about going back to because you kind of told me the story ways back, how Gates started. You were about to tell me a little about it, how it goes back generations and how it all began. Can you speak a little about that?
Yeah, I mean, my mother's father and my dad's father at one point worked at Cargill Chevrolet in Putnam.
Okay.
And my mother's father retired from from working as the service manager there, and then he helped helped my father, get into the business down here, and went out there, painted the place up, did all the things. It was a gas station when we got there. We had 2 gas pumps up front.
What year roughly was this?
It was 1986.
86. Yeah.
And the Bowser family owned that. And if you look at it today, there's 8 parcels of land that it took to get Gates where it is now. And then in 1991, Columbia Ford came to be for by way the store was not operating successfully, and my father got in there in 1991, and then in 1992 the old Stripling Motors was up here, which was a Nissan dealership on Main Street.
Larry Stripling, remember that?
Yeah, and my father acquired that Nissan dealership, and we kind of combined it with GMC at the time, and then I think it was 1997 or 97. My father bought Gomes Total Chrysler in Putnam, and then we've added, so that store's been there. And then we added two Kia dealerships, one in Columbia, one in Putnam, and one in Columbia, and been expanding since then. Heavy equipment in Moose Up, and then I purchased Capital Garage.
It's like an empire now, folks.
And then
It's
Weil
an empire.
Hyundai, Andy Weil, and then the one down in New London, which is called Capital
the
South.
old Secor,
The
right?
old Secor,
So
yeah.
let's just do a quick little recap
Yeah.
here, because it takes a lot for me. And it's a lot here. I'm going to try and name them all here. Gates GMC Nissan,
Yep.
Columbia Ford Kia,
Yep.
Weil Hyundai. Is that what you guys call it? What do you guys?
Yeah, I still call it
Weil
yep.
Hyundai. Help me out here.
Capital Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram
Yep.
on Main Street.
That's the 4 around here, right?
Yep.
And then what's the old Secor's name again? The one
I call it Capital South.
Capital South.
Yep.
And what else we missed? That's 5.
Putnam
Right?
Chrysler and Putnam Kia.
Putnam Chrysler, Putnam Kia. And it's all under the same umbrella. Gates Gates gets it as the 4 around here, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're individual dealerships, and so they're not really the same umbrella, but they're all independent,
Yeah.
operations. But,
Where do you spend your? I know you're bouncing all over the place, but during the week, where is Denny Gates for the most part? Just going from dealership to dealership, or what?
I don't really know sometimes where I am if I'm there. No, I mean, it's we're about 450 automotive employees now, and
Wow.
and then there's a restaurant portion that my father is, that I don't have anything to do with that, but there's a large restaurant and a catering and wedding venues that is very large, and there's another probably 200.
Is that the one in Hampton?
Yeah, that and Putnam Black Dog.
Oh, I know what the Putnam one.
I would say there's probably 200 something restaurant in a team. So it's a big operation, and we have 3 collision centers, car wash, etc. So there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of meetings. There's a lot of changes, a lot of reps to see because of the different franchises and brands we represent. So I guess a lot of meetings. And that's just the nature of the beast. But I like to start my day at Gates. That's right.
I was about to say, take us through an average
Yeah, my
day.
office is there.
Gates down on Route 6, right?
Yeah, right across the golf course.
Yep.
And my little office is there, and I like it there right in the showroom floor. And then I usually mosey to Columbia and maybe weave one of the other ones in the middle because it's kind of easy to go that way. So I drive, kind of do an S-curve through town.
Nice.
And a lot of phone calls.
A lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings, but it's making his way from
Yeah.
dealership to dealership. Now, are we allowed to talk about? And we will, if so, I won't get into it right now. But the new thing going on in Columbia that you were telling me about.
Yeah, I'm
the other-
working on it. I mean,
You want to get into it now, or
I mean, it's like it's. I don't know how to format it. I'm
you don't
working,
have to say too much if you don't
Yeah.
want to. It's up to you. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on trying to do some kind of experience course with Jeeps and different all-terrain vehicles. We have the Ford Bronco and stuff. So I'm working on it. I got to see what I can and can't do, but it's a super neat thing. I just want to be able to show you how a vehicle operates and what you're buying and give you more of a dynamic experience.
So something big will be coming in Columbia quite soon.
Yeah,
Just
I
give
want.
little tease.
I got to work it out, but I think it's going to be cool.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Yeah. All right, Denny Gates is with us. Episode 100 of Hometown Threads. We do have a lot of confetti. There we go. Episode 100 of Hometown Threads on WILI. Willimantic today. Spectrum 192 brought to you by Liberty Bank. Be community kind. Now let's backtrack. Take us through your years growing up in the, well, as they say, the quiet corner. Not so quiet anymore, right? Wouldn't you agree? Now, we're about, what, 10 years apart? I'll be 53 in April. What are you, like, early 40s?
I'm like 25. No, I'm just kidding.
You look 25.
Yeah, I'm
Look how tan this guy is,
I'll be
too.
42 this year. Don't remind me. These years tick away like minutes.
Look at you and I both got a little gray going.
I trimmed it up for you today. It was a little bushier. But,
I didn't trim. I just let this go for you.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about your years. I'm sure you got some stories growing up in Pomfret, right?
No, actually Putnam. East
sorry.
Putnam, way out in the, like, almost on the Rhode Island line.
Beautiful.
I love
Putnam,
it.
Pomfret.
Yeah.
You grew up with Renee Zellweger, right? No, I'm kidding.
She was
she out
out
there at
there.
that time?
She was. I think she bought a little. Like, I think I might have been living this way, but she was out there, and I think the early 2000s or mid
something
2000s.
like that.
Yeah.
So tell us about growing up around there, and what was it like? Where'd you go to school? Like
Went to Putnam,
went to
all
Putnam?
the way through, and
All right.
I mean, I love my experience. I actually had a great life growing up. It was a wonderful life. Growing up in Putnam, I had my family in the area, and then all my free time was here. And so I kind of got a lot of exposure here. I know so many people here, and I know so many people there. I feel like the whole northeast corner, I'm very, very comfortable. I feel like I know everybody everywhere I go, and I love that feeling.
They're not mad at you because you spend all your time up here now, right? They don't hold it against you.
I support. We're big community supporters. I support a lot up there, and it's to me, it's a very peaceful place. There's a lot of great nooks and crannies up there. It's still a quiet corner, but they got a lot going on. I give Putnam a lot of credit. I think
Boy, have they grown. That area has really grown.
We're involved in all the things that they do, and I just think they have done a nice job, keeping things moving in that town and re-engineering themselves. I think they do a very, very good job, and I think the leadership sticks together there pretty much, and I think everybody does a nice job.
Even Dayville. I mean, it's all in that.
They've changed
Dayville, I'll never forget. This is a while back, 15, 20 years ago, but I remember driving through there going, oh my God, they got this huge shopping center now, like a TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal. And again, that was a while back. But so was there any point in the career of Denny Gates where, like me, I grew up in radio and I fell in love with it when Wayno hired me and I had the bug right away. But was there any point in your life growing up, like say in your teens, going through your high school years, that you saw the family business, but you were like, I kind of want to, I don't know if I want to. Did you ever have a second thought, like there could be another career path?
No, I don't, because when you work just as hard as you can at every age to see that the things are successful and you care a lot, I think that it comes. I mean, I don't think anybody they had the passion, but you can find passion in anything, and I think it's just what you decide to put into it and what it gives back to you. For me, I just enjoy it, and I enjoy the people. And I think the timing was right for me at a young age. I adapted to it, and I understood it, and it makes me very comfortable. And I think that's, for me, it makes me feel like a part of something, and I feel very happy with it. And I've never, not once, I've never felt that I didn't want to do it.
How old were you when you sold your first car?
Gosh.
Come on. Do you still sell cars? Are you still on the floor working deals, or you leave that to your sales
There's a few managers and I that have a dinner on a monthly basis based on who sells more. I usually win. I took some time off at the Florida.
So it's like a little competition.
Yeah, I usually always win. I'm very competitive.
Me too.
I have a great customer base, and that's the most fun part of the job. It's not even the sale; it's the communication and the relationships, and getting to be a part of their life through what I do. My daughter needs a car, my son needs a car. I got to change a car for my mom, my grandmother. I don't know. I just enjoy the communication, and that's how I'm at the office, so that's where I get to see people. That's like nothing different than our wonderful Taylor over here, or whatever. Like,
absolutely,
you go in and
good
it's
job.
part of life. Part of
your
life.
customers, I thought I had a big family here with the radio station, but your customers are like, as you probably said, an extended family. So you've probably seen, some of your customers' kids grow up, and now they're having kids and all that. It's got to be wild. But I go back to the question. Try and remember when you sold your first car. How old are you? I got to know. I'm thinking he's not going to get away from this. I don't care if you got to guess. I got to know this.
I can tell you some of the. I can tell you when the first mistake I made.
Ooh,
I know the first
tell us
mistake.
This.
I sold a car.
You make mistakes? This guy makes...
I remember that I I sold a car. I was selling a car to a lady. Well, the first mistake I made was a lady in Coventry, and I was selling her a car, and they just came out with like the Nissan Quest had a. I was probably at that time I was probably like 15, and on Nissan Quest they came out with the bucket seats instead of the bench, and I remember getting her all set, and she was coming in, and it wasn't gonna have enough easy for car seats because she had 4 kids, and she needed like 3 in the middle or whatever, and the other one was like a booster seat in the back. That was a terrible conundrum. And then I remember when we opened up in Putnam, I had sold a car to somebody that was front wheel drive instead of all wheel drive. And I realized it. I was about to tell him, and he got stung by a bee. He was super allergic.
Get out of here.
He was super allergic. And I looked at him, and he's like, and I said, "Oh my God, this guy's taking this really bad." And he ended up in the hospital, and I had to call him and tell him afterwards. But it was.
Well, it was a great. Thank God for that bee. I hate to say that.
No. We fixed it. We moved on.
No, he stalled the whole. Sales
I felt so bad. I was like, man, this guy, I've never seen someone so mad. But and then I realized what happened.
What a story.
I know. So those are the big mistakes. But I remember at a really young age, a guy by the name of Sammy Petrowski, which owned Petrowski Auctioneers, which now is Ritchie Brothers. He walked in the dealership when I was really little, and I was probably 11 years old. And he looked for my father. My father wasn't there, and I was there. And he said, "Well, all right, kid, I need a truck." And I think that was one of the first, like, when I was treated like an adult, if that makes any sense.
And you were saying,
I was like 11 or 12.
That's
I was there
incredible.
working, and he treated me like. And I think from that point on, I have handled his account my whole life.
That is that.
Yeah, I owed a lot to that guy. We're very close.
See, it's stories like this that when Denny comes in, we do talk a little, before he records a spot. But I knew he'd make the perfect guest for episode 100 because it's. And I wish we had more time. But stories like this, that's a tremendous story. Now, do you? How many salespeople do you have? I know you probably. I roll my eyes because it's a lot of people. But maybe you know the exact number of. Let's just say with the dealerships around here. Well, if you want to give us all
in total,
fine.
I mean,
total.
It's a lot, but it's not as much as you'd think. It's about 43.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sorry. No, that's full time, and then we have some seniors that like senior salespeople that I'm not counting in that because they've been with us for so long that they're not. I don't know how to put it. They're in a different position. It's about 55 in total.
Wow. And you said that's everyone?
Yeah, that's everywhere. It's actually less salespeople than you'd think.
Well, if you'd like to take this time to shout out to anybody that's I was going to say shout out to some of your staff, but that would take all day because I'm sure you could just go right down the list. But who are some of the people? I love to ask my guests as we come to a close here of episode 100 of Hometown Threads. Who is some people you like to shout out, show love to that have really been made a huge impact to Denny Gates in your career? And it's been it's successful. It's not even the word, beyond successful. So, who would you like to shout out and show love to at this time?
I mean, I could go on forever. I would say that Deb Miller is that gal I was telling you about. She's phenomenal. Wayne Lucas, which ran our collision center forever. He was a descendant of the Bowser family. He comes in on a part-time basis now. I would say that Sammy Petrowski as a customer, Bruce John, Donna. I mean, those people have been in my corner since I knew what a corner was.
That's great. That's a great way to put it.
Yep.
You got a beautiful family too. Want to say hello to them?
Yeah, my oldest, 5 years old, Everett,
wow.
And my 2-year-old Harrison, and my wonderful wife Dana, which is far smarter than me. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be anywhere any day.
The women are always the brain of the operation, right?
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
The boss.
Oh yeah.
But I'm really glad. It's a pleasure to call you friend, and we'll come closer to you. Month by month. It's great to see you on a monthly basis, and finally, great to get you in here for Hometown Threads. Is there anything else you'd like to add about maybe something about the dealership or something you'd like to push about Gates GMC Nissan? And
I didn't thank you for what you do. I've been following you the last couple of years in particular. And I think you need a shout out at a 100-year anniversary. 100-year episode. 100 episodes.
100 years, baby.
100 years.
100
Holy
years.
moly. If we're here in 100 years, we're going somewhere else. We're going
100 years. If we're both around 100 years.
You give a lot of time. You do a lot of community service. You're involved in great brotherhoods in this community. But also, your family's wonderful. I love everybody in your family. You have a wonderful mother, wonderful father, brothers, the whole thing. But you've gotten really creative and done a lot of cool things between your trivia, between this, everything you do, the sports bar stuff, going, the bingo. Is that bingo?
Bingo, yeah. At Fenton,
yeah. I'm impressed with the way that you keep being dynamic, and it's so important to the community. And I think you need a thank you and a congratulations, and we appreciate you as a community at large. And I don't think I'm speaking out of from a position where, I mean, you're hitting all these markets and segments, and you're doing a lot to touch a lot of people, and I think that's what the community radio is all about.
That coming from you, that just, I thank you so much. That means a lot coming from you, Denny Gates.
You put a lot of time in.
I look forward to hopefully you and I partnering up to do something.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be great. And again, big thanks to J. Matt Rupard. Couldn't do this without him.
Thank you.
Liberty Bank, be community kind. Thank you to Denny celebrating episode 100 with me. Hometown Threads on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM, Spectrum 192, and of course, Willimantic Today Facebook. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And in the words of the great Roddy McCumber.
Bye for now, folks. Bye for now.
And that concludes another edition of Hometown Threads. Got a story for Keith? Reach out to him on Facebook by searching Keith C. Rice or email him at krice@hallradio.net. Don't forget to tune in next week on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM, as well as the Willimantic Today page on Facebook.